Welcome to SA Businesses Training Portal. It's good to have you again. And this is the platform and the portal that can help you grow your business to greater heights. And we are here just to help you do that by providing the training that we feel it's necessary that can help your business grow. So let's get into it. I'll provide my contact details at the end. Remember, this is just a synopsis, and we can actually talk on the side. Maybe you can communicate with us and we can come to your business premises, look at it and evaluate and see where you are lacking and help you in those aspects so that your business can grow in many ways. Topic of today, we are going to look at the 80-20% rule of business. This is where you have to work smarter and not harder. A lot of people, they end up getting exhausted because they are working very hard, and they are not working smarter. You need to work smarter. And by working smarter, it means that your business will grow very quickly and you will grow to become a serious entrepreneur with a lot of people you'll be leading, without a doubt. So you need to work smarter all the time. How do you do it? Let's look at the 80-20% rule. This principle reveals a powerful truth. 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts. Believe me, that's what happens. It's not about working harder, but about working smarter. By identifying small set of actions that create the biggest impact, you can unlock efficiency, profitability, and focus like never before. But how do you understand the 80-20% rule? The 80-20% rule isn't just a theory. It's a lens through which you can view productivity, profits, and priorities. 80% of your sales often come from 20% of clients. That means nurturing your top customers can yield exponential returns. You need to look after your clients. I think I've spoken about why it is important to look after your clients. You don't need to have, the bottomless bucket whereby you're trying to fill water and water is just going out and not being able to hold the water that you are pouring into the bucket. In one of my trainings, I've spoken about this at length. 80% of your problems usually stem from 20% causes. Solve those root issues and you eliminate most of the headaches. 80% of your growth often comes from 20% of strategies. Focus on the few initiatives that truly drive progress. The principle teaches us to stop scattering our energy across everything and instead channel it into a few things that matter most. You don't need to jump everywhere. Or if you hear that there is something that is happening, you jump to that idea. There is that idea, you jump to that idea and leave the one that you started with in the very first instant. As a leader, you need to have a vision. Stick to the vision. And then you impart that vision to your managers. And the managers, they will transcend that to the executioners, who are the workers now down below there. So it's another training which I've spoken about. You can look at it there. If you want, I can direct you to which one it is. The 80% rule is not just a productivity hack. It's a mindset shift. Entrepreneurs often fall into the trap of trying to do everything. But the truth is, not all tasks are equal. Leaders and managers must apply this principle differently, yet in harmony. For leaders, focus on vision. Leaders should spend their energy on the 20% of ideas that inspire long-term change instead of drowning in the daily operations. They must ask, which initiatives will shape the future of my business? By focusing here, leaders ensure the time fuel growth, not just maintenance. This is hence the reason you find that even in government sectors, you find that there is a president who is sitting there. He's got the vision. Once he's elected to be there, he's got the vision of the country. And what does he do? He takes the managers who are the ministers. And what do the ministers do? They start disseminating that vision, the vision of the president. Hence the reason they say the buck stops with the president. If any mess up happens in government, there is no one else who is to blame beside the president himself. That's what happens because he's sitting there on the helm. He's the CEO of the country. That's what happens. Governed by certain rules and regulations. So in your organization as well, you need to have a set of rules that governs you as well. When you're stepping out of line, you need to know that I'm stepping out of line. Empower key people in your business. In every team, a small group of individuals drives most of the culture and performance. Leaders must identify these influencers and invest in them through mentorship, recognition, opportunities. When the right 20% are empowered, the ripple effect strengthens the entire organization. It's a fact. Drive innovation. Not every experiment will succeed, but a few will transform the business. Leaders should encourage calculated risk, knowing that breakthrough results often come from a handful of bold initiatives. The 20% of innovations that succeed can fuel 80% of future growth. That's what happens in most cases. So you'll find that as a leader, you need to play around the 20%. That's working smarter. And the 20% is making sure that you have got the strategies in place that will make sure that the managers will impart to the executors who are your employees down below. And whatever you have imparted the manager, you need to trust that the manager is going to run with the baton. And they will have to come back and report to you. For managers now, streamline processes. Managers must identify the workflow that deliver most of the efficiency. Instead of tweaking every process, they should focus on the few that impact productivity the most. This prevents wasted effort and maximizes operational flow. Track the key metrics. Not all KPIs are equal. Managers should monitor the handful of metrics that truly reflect success. Revenue growth, customer retention, or project completion rates. By focusing on these, they avoid drowning in data and keep teams aligned. It's very important that you keep teams aligned to the vision. Solve recurring issues as a manager. Most delays and frustration come from a small set of recurring problems. Managers must identify these root causes and fix them permanently. Solving the critical 20% of issues eliminates the majority of influences. These divisions of focus ensures leaders drive vision while managers secure execution. Together, they create a business that is both inspired and efficient. Let's get practical. How can you as an entrepreneur apply the 80-20% rule in your daily routines? Here are the practical steps that you can follow. Audit your time. I think in one of my trainings, I talked about time. Time is very important. Track your hours for a week. You will quickly see that most of your time is spent on tasks that don't move the needle. You might not want to hear this. It happens to everybody, and it happens to all of us. Cut or delegate the 80% of your low impact activities. Focus your energy on the 20% that drives growth. Whether that's client meetings, product development, or strategic planning. You need to identify top clients. It's very important, and look after them. In most businesses, a small group of clients generate the majority of revenues. Entrepreneurs should nurture these relationships with personalized service, loyal programs, or exclusive offers. By focusing on the top 20%, you secure the 80% of your income. That's working smarter. Simplify your diary. I've spoken about the diary in my other trainings. Your diary is your compass. Block time for the few activities that create the biggest impact. Deep work, strategic thinking, and client engagement. Avoid filling your schedule with endless meetings or minor tasks. When your diary reflects the 80-20% principle, your day becomes purposeful. You need to review all this in a weekly reviews. They are very, very important to see where you're going, what you haven't done, what you are doing right, and what you have done wrong, so that there are no repetitions of the wrong. You need to concentrate on the rights. Reflect is key. Every week, ask what activities gave me the biggest results, what drained my time with little return. Adjust accordingly. The habit ensures you stay aligned with the 20%, while at least you get the 80% of the profits. By consistently applying these strategies, entrepreneurs shift from being busy to being effective. Because sometimes you can get in an office and see everybody busy. But if you ask, okay, what are you doing? Where are you channeling this time to? Are you getting any progress? Because at the end of the day, in your busyness, you need to see the results. You can't just be busy for nothing. What is it that you are hitting the keyboard for? Are you hitting the keyboard so that you can get your 80%, or you're just hitting the keyboard to fill up your day? You need to be asking these practical questions. The 80%-20 rule is about clarity. It teaches entrepreneurs to separate noise from signal, distraction from impact. When leaders and managers apply it together, business thrives with vision and execution. Success isn't about doing everything. It's about doing the right thing. The 20% drives 80% of the result. The synergy within leadership and management. I always say, when you're using the 80-20% rule, it bridges leadership and management beautifully. Leadership uses it to prioritize vision and people. Managers uses it to optimize systems and processes. Together, they ensure businesses don't just work harder, they work smarter. The signage means bold ideas are executed efficiently and structured plans remain inspired. So in conclusion, remember, success isn't about doing everything. It's about doing the right things. The 80-20% rule teaches us that small, focused efforts can create massive results. So as you plan your next week, ask yourself, what's my 20% that creates 80% of the impact? Master that, and you'll master your business. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this training session we had today, and I encourage you to communicate with me on the contacts below here. And don't forget to subscribe, share, and like this video so that other people can get the necessary impacts on their businesses as well. So thank you. See you in my next training session. Thank you very much.